Unmuted.
Hello, my name is Isabella Perez, Recreation Leader for the City of Socorro. Thank you for joining today's meeting. Before the meeting begins, we would like to remind our guests to remove all hats and silence all electronic devices. No destructive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to ejection and possible prosecution.
Hola, mi nombre es Judy Rodríguez, secretaria de Planificación de la Ciudad de Socorro. Gracias por participar en la reunión de hoy. Antes de que comience la reunión, nos gustaría recordarles a nuestros invitados favor de quitarse los sombreros y silenciar todos los dispositivos electrónicos. No se tolerará ningún comportamiento perturbador ni exabrupto y los infractores estarán sujetos a expulsión y posible procesamiento.
Good evening, everybody. It's June 20th of 2024 and 6:03 p.m. I call this meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to kindly ask that after the Pledge of Allegiance, you all may be seated, and we'll request that moment of silence in the seated position today. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, the council would like to express their sincerest gratitude to the residents of Socorro and the surrounding communities for their donations during this time of need. At this time, I'd like to request a moment of silence for all of our brothers and sisters up north in Ruidoso, New Mexico, during this difficult time. And I'd ask for this moment of silence at this time. Thank you. Thank you. Item number 3, establishment of quorum.
Ruben Reyes.
Here.
Cesar Nevares.
Here.
Alejandro Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Ivy Avalos is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Rudy Cruz.
Present.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll be moving on into public comment. Do we have any speakers?
We have several speakers.
Okay.
Our first speaker is Gabriel Gonzalez.
I'd also like to remind the public and the viewers watching that during public comment, although we would like to answer any questions or any of your concerns, it's only public comment, so we can't address any of those items during this public comment section, okay? But we are listening, we're taking notes. Thank you all. Okay, let it be noted that the speaker will present during the item, I believe 20 and 21? Yes. Okay, absolutely.
Ana Gonzalez. Rudy Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, Council. I saw the discussion was added today on the agenda about intersection repair on Bovey and Socorro Road. The intersection is full of potholes and collects a lot of water when it rains, so I think it'll be good to move forward with this repair action for it is a main entrance for everyone that lives on Bovey and also school buses that use it to get to Socorro Middle. And that's it.
Thank you.
Maribel Lara. Efren Gutierrez. Liliana Lara, and Ramon Lara. Mayor Pro Tem, those are all our speakers.
Thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Mr. Garcia, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to move items 20, 21, 24, and 29, please.
Second.
Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
Cesar Nevares. Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Did you want to start with 20 and 21? Was it go in order? Let's go ahead and prepare agenda item 20 and 21. If there's any backup documentation that you all would like to present on the monitor, at this time, I'll have staff get that ready, as well as any speakers and backup documentation that our speakers may have. If you can hand that over to staff as well at this time. And we're going to go ahead and present agenda item number 20. This is a public hearing of an ordinance for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's Master Plan and rezoning of Lot 11, Block 15, Freedman Estates, Unit 2, located at 367 Hodaka Way, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to an R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for a duplex. Do we have any speakers? Okay, Jim's here. Okay.
Open the public hearing. Open the public hearing.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and enter public hearing at 6:09 PM.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Here I have changed the original floor plan layout of the original project that I wanted to do a year ago. Basically, I have listened to the instructions of the zoning planning department. I have reduced the structure, the original structure that there were actually there were two buildings, or two structures on the property. Now I have changed it to a duplex, just a regular simple duplex. Here reflects the measurements of the structure that I'm proposing. Again, the height, the dimensions, it's not gonna be no bigger than a regular two-story house. As you can see, one of the problems or the main questions was the parking spaces. Here, as you can see on the illustration, I have, it's not changing. Okay. Okay, again, illustration reflects the current dimensions of the lot size. Front and side dimensions can be observed, as well as the front setbacks. And actually, I included also some satellite images, so you can see that I'm not changing anything or altering anything. Here, a different angle of the proposed design of the duplex. Again, it's going to be just a duplex, and I did all these modifications based on the previous presentation or meeting by the zoning and planning department. And I went ahead and listened to the department. I was okay to reduce from two structures into just one single structure, so I can go and accommodate more parking spaces, because actually that was one of the main concerns before. It's not changing. I don't know if you can go to the next one. Okay, here's going to be a top view of the lot, or actually of the design. As you can see, there's plenty of parking spaces there. It's going to be, like I said before, a ponding area, no more than 12 parking spaces. That's going to be plenty, I believe. Again, following what the municipal code states, depending for this lot size. The dimensions are showing there. 12 parking spaces, ponding area. I don't know if you can go to the next slide. Again, different angle. To the next one, that's going to be which is going to be the footprint of each story, which is going to be 1,400 square feet to 1,500, Again, I emphasize it's not going to be no bigger than a small house, actually. But again, it's going to be into 2 stories. I don't know if you can go to the second, next image. Again, that's my satellite reflecting what it shows there in reality. As you can see, you can compare. I have not changed anything. I have listened to the zoning and planning meeting, and I don't know if you can go to the next one. I'm just asking for the, again, collaboration of the neighborhood just to create a duplex. Before, there used to be 2 different structures. Now I have complied. I have, in a way, I'm okay, with just a simple duplex. Hopefully, again, the neighbors, I don't want to specify a specific family, they are okay with this project. As you can see, there's going to be plenty of parking spaces on site. They're not going to be in the street. Again, hopefully they can understand this project is not going to impact, the neighborhood. It's just a simple duplex. Like on my previous presentation, on the previous street, they were okay to provide to the neighbor, the authorization to move forward with the duplex. I'm just asking for the same, to be treated equally, and hopefully they can see it like that. I don't know if later on I can go ahead and show you with facts, what the rezoning case was for the property behind Hodaka, and also another one which was done recently, back in April, because I know they have presented evidence that no lot should be changed. And again, this lot is going to change not to commercial, it's going to stay the same as residential. Again, I'm just asking for authorization to do a simple duplex, no bigger than a regular house, 2-story house, and that's about it. Hopefully they can see it like that, and they're not opposed to that decision. Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Navarro, do we have any other speakers?
Yes, we do. We have several. Our next speaker is Ana Gonzalez. Maribel Lara.
Good afternoon, members. First of all, one of the things that we have a concern, we understand that Mr. Gonzalez wants to make use of his land, and we have no problem with him at all. What we do have a problem is his elaborate ideas that he has to build in that small land that he has. The last time we were here, his idea was 3-story apartments. That was shut down because it was not a fit to that community, to that part of land, because it was too big. The last meeting that we had, it was brought down from 2 duplexes to 1, because the members felt that, again, it was too small of a land for anything bigger to be built. Our concern is there's no space, and I'm not a don't have any idea in construction or measurements, but anybody can see. My sister's going to show some pictures. You're going to be able to see the difference. I don't see how this is going to fit there. Plus, the area that we live is a residential area. Everything is single home. It's a single home community. Everything is homes. The members asked him if he was open to suggestions, which he was. We have a suggestion as well. We would really like for him to consider, we would really like to see a home built there. He's in the business of renting. We don't see why he can't just rent that home and, save us all those troubles, those headaches. This is the second time we're here. As you can see, those plans that he had from the previous meeting were not the same ones. Again, these are 2 stories. The last time, 2, 3 stories were shut down. He wants to, there wants to be a change in the rezoning. We would like to keep it as an R1, as a residential. The lot next to him was bought. A home is going to be built. The one behind him was bought. a home is already built. Everything that's being bought is single homes. We do have a duplex that he did mention the last time. I never received a notice that that was going to be built there. It was mentioned that the residents received notice. I never did. I live walking distance to it. When it was getting built, I thought it was a home, but it turned out to be a duplex. So I had no say in that. That's why we're asking that you please reconsider and keep it as a residential. And again, we have no problem with him building, but we would really like to see a home, and he can still rent it out. He won't lose any profit. And it would be a good fit for our community. That's what we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Efren Gutierrez. Señor Gutiérrez. Liliana Lara.
Okay, so hello, good evening, everybody. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of just elaborate a little bit on what my sister was saying. If you could just scroll through and these were just some images just to kind of refresh your memory. These were already shown at the last meeting and then the very first meeting as well. These are just the multi-family structures that were built around the neighborhood. And just to kind of reiterate again that they are on a corner lot, there's plenty of space around. It's a little bit different from building something kind of in the middle of the street. And like we said, we don't have any issue with anything being built there. We really want the community to grow. There's a lot of lots that are around there. And like my sister said, that we've had a lot of new homes that are being built there. And aesthetically, I mean, I would like to bring that up as well, because just to kind of match the rest of the community, we have a lot of homes there. And it's just a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And then I would also like to bring up the quality of life of the families or the individuals that are going to be living there as well. When you have a single family home like ours and people around us, you can do a lot there. You can really build your family up there. You have a big spacious backyard. You have plenty of room for your kids to be around. And it makes it a little bit more difficult if you have maybe 2 or more families living on a lot like that. So it's just something that I wanted to touch on as well. And then if you can just kind of scroll through the pictures. And then these are just some other structures as well. And if you can keep going. And these are some other properties as well that are also multi-family homes. And then if you can just scroll. And these are the dimensions of the lot, just to kind of give you an idea that it's not very big. And then if you want to just keep going, and then one more, sorry. And then this is another new structure that's being built that are also multifamily lots. So that's also on a corner, also offers a lot more space as well. And then this is the lot there in front. And then if you can go one more, sorry. Then he had already covered the parking as well. And then this is the duplex that we were talking about at 391 Talib. So this did actually look like a house. Like my sister said, whenever it was being built, no one kind of realized that this was going to be a duplex. It looks like a house. It kind of fits in with what I was talking about, that aesthetically, you can't really tell that it's multifamily. If you just kind of pass by it, it looks like a home. And if you can keep going. And then one more, sorry. And then just to bring up, just gonna read this real quick. This is actually the document that my dad signed when he bought the property. And it just says that no building shall be located on any track nearer than 25 feet to the front track line. No building shall be located on any track near, than 10 feet to any side track line. No building shall be located on any track nearer than 10 feet to the rear track line, provided however nothing herein contained shall be constructed to prevent the use of one building site of 2 or more tracks. And it also states that all lots and tracks in said Freeman Estates Unit 2, according to the survey and plat thereof, are hereby designated as residential area. So he did sign that when he first moved there. So this was a single-family residential community. And then if you want to just keep going. And then these are just signatures from all of the neighbors that are around us, and these happen to be around where the home is, where our home is, and where he wants to build the structure. And then if you can just keep going. And just to kind of give you an idea that my dad was the one that was actually going around kind of explaining the situation, and we have all of the signatures here, if you want to take a look at them, that they're kind of in agreement. I know we would like to have a lot more people here present with us to kind of express themselves, but it's a little bit difficult to make it on a Thursday at 6 p.m. A lot of people do have their families, they've got work, they've got a lot of responsibilities, but this was their way of showing their support for us as well. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ramon Lara.
And then if you can just go back to
Buenas tardes.
Muy buenas tardes, señor. Le
Mi
pido un
nombre
favor,
es
antes,
Ramón.
le puedo pedir que se quite la cachucha, por favor.
Ok.
Ay, por favor. Gracias.
Pues yo traje ese porque los lotes de nosotros, esa es la medida que marcan. Y pues como dice él, parece que tenemos algo personal con él, pero es que no. Nosotros no somos los que lo estamos trayendo aquí, él es el que nos está trayendo a nosotros aquí. Y nosotros lo que estamos haciendo pues es probando que todos los proyectos que él ha presentado, pues no sé, cada vez que venimos a una junta presenta uno, después presenta otro, después otro, y pues en realidad pues no sabemos qué es lo que quiere hacer, pero todos los que él ha presentado, pienso yo que en un lote de ese tamaño no se puede hacer, porque yo fui constructor por 30 años, yo trabajé con Alarcón, trabajé con Rochelle, trabajé con Meléndez, y pues yo sé mucho de eso. Por eso pues yo pienso que está haciendo un proyecto que no se puede llevar a cabo. Entonces, a mi punto de vista, digo yo, es una división que cuando yo compré el 77, y cuando yo compré, a nosotros, claro, nos dijeron que eran lotes designados nada más para residenciales y para una pura residencia. Entonces, pues, no sé qué es lo que ustedes puedan decidir. Digo, ya una vez decidieron y pues no nos queda más que esperar a lo que ustedes vuelvan a decidir. Porque pues eso es todo lo que podemos hacer. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, señor Lara, por sus comentarios.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, Mr. Lara did bring in a petition and the restrictions for the subdivision, and they're in front of you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
And those were all our speakers, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Navarro. We'll go ahead and move into the next item, which is 21. This is the second reading, and, I'm sorry? Yeah, at this time, I'd like to close a public hearing at 6:27 PM. And we'll now move into agenda item number 21, which is the second reading and adoption of an ordinance for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 11, Block 15, Freedman Estates, Unit 2, located at 367 Hodaka Way, Socorro, Texas, from R1, single-family residential, to R2, medium-density residential, to allow for a duplex. Lorene Quimiro, our Director of Planning and Zoning.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Lorene Quimiro, City Planner. Item number 21 for your consideration is a rezoning request for 367 Hodaka Way. Some background information regarding the request. The property owner is LGA Enterprise LLC. The representative, Gabriel Gonzalez, is here to answer any questions that you might have regarding the case. The lot is 10,625 square feet in size. It is currently zoned R1. The request is to rezone to R2. The future land use map for the City of Socorro designates this area as single-family residential. Previous action taken by City Council on this item was a denial of a rezoning for the property of R2 from R1 to allow for 2 duplexes. That action was taken on December the 20th of 2023. Planning and Zoning recommends approval of this rezoning request. Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the rezoning request on May 21st, 2024, with the condition that the property only have 1 duplex on the lot. For reference, the location of the property is hash marked here on Hodaka Way, and generally this area is south of Passmore and Peters Road. The property is zoned R1 residential. The property surrounding is also R1 residential. These are photographs taken of the property from Hodaka Way. You can see the vacant lot. The aerial image shows the vacant lot with the surrounding land uses. To the north, there's single-family residential. To the east and south, single-family residential. And at the time of this aerial, still a vacant lot. This is a zoomed-out view of the subdivision zoning map for Freedman Estates Unit 2. There have been some zoning changes from R1 to R2. The one closest to the subject property is the one at 391 Telop. That was approved in 2013 for a duplex. The most recent was the case taken in April of this year for Peters. The R3 in this subdivision is an original zoning. No zoning changes were approved by this council. This was part of the original zoning map when it was first put in place or adopted. Public notice was given to 200 residents within 200 feet of the property. No written notices were received at the time of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, but at this Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, 5 people spoke to the commission regarding their request, in opposition to the request. This was the original site plan that was requested and presented with regard to this zoning request. Mr. Gonzalez still had asked the Planning and Zoning Commission for 2 duplexes, two-story duplexes. That was negotiated down to a single duplex, which Mr. Gonzalez agreed to. With that, staff can answer any questions.
Do any members of council have questions? Yes.
Good afternoon.
I have several questions. The sizes of each side of the duplex, each one, would be?
The updated, that would be a question for Mr. Gonzalez. He didn't present us the new layout for the duplex.
Give me a second, Mr. Gonzalez, we'll come right back to it.
If it is going to match the one that was being presented previously, it was 806 square feet,
Each side?
each duplex,
Okay.
no, for the whole building.
Oh, the whole thing, okay. So I'm looking at the covenants, okay, of when this area was developed by a developer, they drew up covenants. These are the rules and regulations. Do they match what we have as an ordinance for the city? In other words, setbacks to the front, to the back, to the side? And does the covenant actually state it has to stay as a single residence?
No, so two questions there. It does match the setbacks, and the item C1, all lots and tracts are designated as residential. A duplex would still be residential. And then to item 2, preventing more than one building, his 2 duplexes would not comply with these deeds and restrictions, so he would have to be kept to 1 building. The other restriction in here that he doesn't meet, that he does meet regarding the residences and the structures themselves is that the dwellings be not less than 800 square feet, and that's item 7, also under C. So he complies, his request of a duplex complies with the restrictions in these covenants.
So the covenants are being complied with and the ordinance is being complied if he were to move forward with this duplex that he's presenting?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Nevares.
I have a question, excuse the ignorance. That other property that the lady showed, that other duplex.
Antelope?
That looks like a home. What's the size of that and how close to their neighborhood is that one located at?
I do not have information about that duplex. We can look at the Google map, aerial visual, so for a visual of that building, but having driven around there, it does not seem out of place with the buildings that are on either side of it. But I cannot answer the question regarding the size of the building itself.
Did they ever change the zoning for that particular one?
Antelope?
That's why I'm interested in knowing how close is it to their area?
If we go, can we pull that area? One more?
You will need the prior presentation that the lady, Ms. Lara.
If we want to look at the image of the foot, but to answer that question you posed right now, the property being considered today is outlined in red,
Yes.
and the zoning on Telope is on just the 1 block over,
One
from
block.
behind them.
Okay.
But that zoning I wrote the date down, that was before I got here. The Telope rezoning was in 2013,
So it was rezoned at the time?
from R1 to R2 in 2013.
Thank you.
Yeah, do any other members of council have questions at this time? Mr. Reyes?
I was gonna ask Mr. Gonzalez a couple of questions. If you go with the plan that you presented right now,
Yes, sir.
it will be the 3rd time you have to do blueprints?
No, sir. No, it'll be my second petition. It's the first petition. It was a different layout. Actually, they were just presented right now. There were 2 separate structures. And like Ms. Lorraine, again, told you in the previous presentation, I agree to work with the city, to hopefully work with the neighbors. I went from 2 buildings, 2 separate structures, into just 1 duplex. It's going to be under 1 roof. So that's going to be my second petition. And actually, what you see on the floor plans, that's what I'm planning to request, to get built.
So the requests that we have right here, the prints that we have right here, they're the same ones as 2021?
No.
No, sir.
So-
No.
So you did the 2021,
Sorry, the 2021 was inaccurate. That was a mistake.
It's 2020.
His previous request was in 2023. He has to wait a year before he makes a new rezoning request. So he did wait the year to submit this new request. That 2021 was a mistake, a typo on my part. So he's only been to, this is his second time to planning, to city council.
okay. How much do you have to pay every time you have to draw a blueprint?
Blueprint, I don't know, like average around 2,500.
Okay, so I counted here around the neighborhood, at least 5 lots with multifamily dwellings, legal or illegal. One of them I saw was a home, and they had a different room on the back.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, legal or illegal. We have Mr. Gonzalez here. He's been trying to work with the neighbors. We can continue to deny him. The city has to grow. Sometimes we're not gonna like what we're having for neighbors. He's doing the right thing. I think it's better to see what Mr. Gonzalez is bringing than to see an empty lot full of trash.
I agree, sir. And just to add on my presentation, again, it's not gonna be green, or it's not gonna be yellow or orange. It's just for illustration purposes, for everyone can understand. It's gonna be level 1, level 2. Again, it's going to be no bigger than a 2-story home that is, again, we have different ones around the area. I'm not planning, I'm gonna be doing everything by code. Again, even my rock walls, you can check. I pulled a permit, final inspection, this and that. I'm doing everything by the book. Again, I do understand there's a lot of people on the list that they're against this project. I have done my homework. Again, a lot of things were done without a permit. I'm planning to do everything the opposite, with a permit and all that. I have complied. I don't like to use the word negotiated, but again, I'm willing to work with everyone. I went from two different structures to one, just to make it a simple duplex. It's gonna look like a house. It's not gonna look like a hotel. It's not gonna look like anything crazy. Again, it's gonna blend with the neighborhood, and that's all what I'm asking, to be, hopefully be treated fairly, equally, like, as you can see, many lots, or at least a couple of lots, they have been rezoned in the past years. One of them recently, in the past April, and that's all I'm asking, Plenty of parking space has been provided. It's gonna be on site. It's not gonna be on the streets. And again, it's going to be just for 2 families, and that's nothing crazy about it. Not 3 stories, not that 3-story building, just 2-story, which is going to be 22 feet in height, 22 to 24. This lot size is plenty for what I'm trying to do, and that's about it.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, you have the floor.
Mr. Martinez, I'm sorry. Is there any liability here for us, for the city?
Whether you approve.
In represents denying or approving?
Very unlikely. I think the city has discretion to do it, particularly, it's a change from R1, but the proposal is to limit it to 1 residential structure.
Right.
And there's a similar one in the immediate area.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Villalobos, you have the floor.
So my question is along that line, Mr. Martinez. My question extends to, based on what you heard today from everybody that came up to speak, he is compliant with exactly what we need. He's complying, and there should be no reason to deny this, except because we have a discretion.
I think that's right. He's complied with all the city's requirements and the restrictive covenants. The city certainly has discretion to grant it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from council? No? Ms. Quimiro, the petition that was placed before council today has 55 signatures. Are any of these signatures for or against the proposed development?
All of these signatures are against the development, but I would feel bad not pointing out that it does say that it is for an apartment, and that's not what the actual request is. The request is for a duplex. The other thing I should note is that 33 of these signatures are from the original petition that was submitted with the original request last year. So all of the, so I believe that's 33 were a part of the original petition, and the additional petitions were presented and collected for this.
And one final question that you may know or not know the answer to, but just for my situational awareness, American Finance and Investment Company is the name of the developer?
No, these are the company that put together the transaction, the sale. The applicant is, as stated in the first slide, LG.
LG and is LG
Enterprises,
company,
and that is Mr. Gonzalez's company.
are they residents of Socorro?
That would be a question for Mr. Gonzalez.
Are you all residents of Socorro? Do you? But you do reside in Socorro? Is that your main dwelling? Your homestead is not in Socorro? Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, we do need a motion.
Yes, do we have a motion at this time?
Motion to approve
Second.
to allow for a single duplex? Would it be building, single duplex building?
It's just a single duplex.
Okay.
Second.
Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
So motion passes on item 21.
Correct.
Okay, moving on to item number 24. This is discussion and action to approve construction contract change order number 7, 8, and 9 for Passmore Shared Use project under the contract number 22-07-01 with Hewitt Solars, Inc., added by a change order number 7 in the amount of $18,939.47, added by change order number 8 of $22,320. Ms. Quimiro.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let me grab it.
Sure.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Sorry.
Second.
These change orders are for the project on Passmore, the Passmore Shared Use Project. As the city's engineer is not available, I will try my best to answer any questions you might have regarding the request. There have been several hiccups in the development of this project. For one of the change orders, the amount allotted for the abutment did not cover both sides, so that was the additional charge for that change order. The other change order was to unfortunately have to reconstruct the channel and in preparation for irrigation season without discovering what utility easements needed to be moved and by who. So as Hewitt Solar and the contractor were out there digging in preparation for the improvements, they discovered a gas line. In trying to lower the gas line, they discovered a water line which needed to be moved, and a mystery line that we were not able to uncover the owner or contents of prior to having to shut down, reconstruct everything for the beginning of irrigation season. The team is confident that the time between now and the beginning of construction season, we will be able to move swiftly to move the lines that are necessary and identify the owner of the missing line.
Excuse me, sir. Perdón, señor, deja que termine la presentación la señora Quimiro y ahorita le atendemos, señor. Gracias. Ms. Quimiro, go ahead and go on with your presentation, ma'am.
That was the gist of the situation that we're currently in with Passmore. Shared use project, we're about 94% complete. Unfortunately, these items happen. It's an older community. A lot of utilities have switched hands in the history of Socorro's existence, and record keeping might not have been the best. So while we were assured by the Lower Valley Water District that that line was not in the way of our work, it in fact was.
Thank you, Ms. Quimiro. Does any member of council have any questions or like to discuss further this agenda item?
I have a question.
Mr. Garcia, go ahead.
So, and going back to the plan, so we found things that were told that weren't there. And now we have to go back and us have to change it due to the fact of finding invisible pipes.
Misplaced. But yes,
Misplaced pipes.
and we are coordinating those efforts and be a little more diligent in moving forward with moving all of those lines that need to be moved. The gas company was very helpful in moving quickly to lower the gas line. Unfortunately, found that water line, and
Where are we with the water line now?
that we do need to move the existing water line, and coordinating with Lower Valley Water District to get on their timeline and negotiate how that whole process will move forward as soon as construction begins, season begins.
Ms. Rarte had her hand up real quick.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, so there's that water line, and then there's another line that nobody has identified. However, the records of the Bureau of Reclamation states it's Lower Valley Water District's line. However, they haven't took ownership. So at this time, we are seeing if we can cap that line, but we're gonna give that one less intent to work with the Lower Valley Water to see if they're able to identify it. Out of these change orders, there's 2 others that are coming, because once irrigation season starts, then we have to demo again, right? In order to be able to make those relocations before we can finish our shared use path.
Thank you. Ms. Villalobos?
Are any of these entities that are involved sharing the cost different from what we have here?
This is our City of Socorro project, but we are checking to see what our MOUs and what coordination we can do to help limit the cost on the burden on the city, and also other avenues, if there are any, through the El Paso MPO or the TxDOT, if funds should happen to become available. But we are going to try to see if there's any way we can seek additional funding to cover the additional costs. And I'm sorry, Ms. Rodarte had mentioned 2 costs, and I think she only covered 1.
Well, the work authorization
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
coming
the
from
work
the
authorization.
Hewitt Sellers.
Mr. Garcia, you had a question.
So the change order falls on us directly.
At this time, yes. It is our project.
It is our project. However, sometimes the MPO or TxDOT has money that's left over other projects, and they're able to put that in a bucket, and we're able to, so that's something that we're working towards, to see if they're able to cover that cost. The relocation, we are going to talk to Lower Valley Water, because it's a water irrigation district requirement. We do believe that the cost should fall under the utility, but those are conversations that are still occurring. What's happening is that we weren't anticipating that water line, same situation, Rio Vista, right, that we're in.
Thank you. Any other questions of any members of council? Any more discussion? No?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
This time I want to request a 5-minute recess.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
And we recess at 6:52. We're back in open session at 7:02.
Thank you, Ms. Navarro. We're going to go ahead and continue this meeting. Moving on with agenda item number 29.
Mr. Proman?
Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Can I
Garcia.
move item 16 after item 29, please?
Second.
Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Okay, we'll be taking care of agenda item number 16 right after 29. And agenda item number 29 is discussion and action to direct staff to prepare an assessment and cost analysis for improvement at the intersection of Bovey Road and Socorro Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mayor, we have one speaker. Rudy Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, would you like to speak again, or was your public comment? It was during, okay. Any more speakers for this item?
No more speakers.
Okay, thank you.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 16, public hearing of an ordinance approving the proposed conditional use permit to allow for a mechanic shop in a C2 general commercial zoning district on lot 6-8, block 3, Algodon subdivision located at 10109 Socorro Road in Socorro, Texas. And public hearing is now open at 7:04 p.m. Would anybody like to speak on this item? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, can you please state your name, and you are the applicant for this item
Yes,
here?
I am the applicant. My name is Oscar Gaitan, and I'm the owner of Oscar Gaitan's, Oscar and Sons Tire Shop. The reason I'm here is I want to have on my permit tire shop / mechanic shop, because somebody made a complaint, and we do nothing different than any other tire shop. We do suspension work, which is what we need to do to guarantee the sale of our tires, right? But it occurred to me that this was an opportunity, because I think this is what every tire shop should do now. Because the way cars are built now, it's impossible for you not to call anything you do to a car not being mechanic shop. I mean, the officer, he will know those Ford Explorers you guys drive. Back then you can change that battery in AutoZone. Now it requires $500 and 3 hours of labor just to change a battery. You have to remove part of the suspension to do it. How can not that be called mechanic work? And yet our tire shops are doing that, right? Because it's part of a mechanic shop, of a tire shop. I mean, cars are getting so complicated now that I think every tire shop should really have a mechanic permit too, because there's no way you can able to do work on that car, the way cars are built now, for not to be called a mechanic shop. I mean, it's extensive, the work you have to do just to change a light bulb nowadays. Really have, I don't know if you're familiar with this new Honda Palisades. I mean, $300 later and a bumper and a fender removed, then you gotta change the light bulb. It's ridiculous. And this is the way the future is going. And I thought it was an opportunity for me to start this trend. That, yeah, I mean, the city of Socorro should impose on every tire shop to be / mechanic shop. I mean, we're not gonna overhaul an engine, we're not gonna overhaul a transmission, but the work that you have to do to just change a CV joint is extensive now, because this is the way the cars are built. They're built so the average citizen, the average people, you cannot do these things in your garage no more. I mean, like I said, just changing a battery requires expertise now. That's something that people used to do in AutoZone for free. And this is what the future is going. So I was hoping that for the future of my family, I own this place, and my pigs hopefully will inherit this place too. And I just wanted to clear the road so they won't have no trouble down the road if one day I'm not here, you know? And I think all tire shops should do that. And also, as a further comment, I think that somebody should enforce disposal of tires on this town because it's getting out of hand. Most people who take their tires throw them around the corner. And there's tire shops who are dubious and are throwing this scrap on our drainways and on our streets. It looks disgusting, man. People are paying for the service. Every tire shop should be held accountable to provide that service. If they charge you to dispose of a tire, it should be accounted that you need to dispose of that tire right. A lot of tire shops charge these people and then just throw them away, wherever. It's bad for our business. It's looking bad not just on them, but on every tire shop here. Now people just think tire shops are dirty, which is not. If you do the right thing, if you comply with anything, it's nothing further from the truth. So I would like for the council, please, I want to have this on my permits, and I think every tire shop should have it on their permits. Thank you.
Thank you.
No more speakers.
Thank you, Ms. Navarro. At this time, it's 7:09 p.m., and we are now exiting public hearing on this item. Moving on to agenda item number 17, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving the proposed conditional use permit to allow for a mechanic shop in a C2 general commercial zoning district on lot 6-8, block 3, Algodon subdivision located at 10109 Socorro Road in Socorro, Texas. Lorraine Quimiro.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Item number 17 on the agenda is a conditional use permit to conditional use permit request to allow for a mechanic shop in a C2 zoning district. The applicant, Mr. Oscar Gaitan, is present. Lot size is 20,663 square feet. It is currently zoned C2 general commercial. The future land use map designates this area as commercial. Previous council action on this item was the initial issuance of a conditional use permit for a tire shop, and that was approved by council on December the 20th of 2021. Planning and zoning staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted for approval of the conditional use permit at their May 21st meeting. The location map shows the property south of the intersection of Moon Road and Socorro Road. It is within the Mission Trail Historic District. The zoning map shows the conditional, sorry, the C2 zoning district, the zoning of the properties to the south, east, and west are residential, and C1 commercial to the north. These are photographs taken from Socorro Road of the building and the parking. The aerial image shows the location of the building, the parking, and the surrounding land uses. The lot to the north is vacant. The properties to the east and west and south are residential. Notification was sent to residents within 200 feet of the property. No notices were received either in favor or against the request. No one spoke at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting either in favor or against the request. And this is the site plan showing the existing structure, the canopy, and the parking. With that, staff can answer any questions, but in summary, again, the request is to approve a conditional use permit for a mechanic shop in a C2 zoning district. And I can answer any questions at this time.
Do any members of council have questions at this time? Mr. Reyes?
So the tire shop is located in Socorro Road. A lot of visitors come through Socorro Road. We have wonderful businesses through there. I drive through there every day. Just like last time when we approved the tire shop, we're asking for it to be clean. We get all these people, all these visitors, And the last thing we want is for them to see, like you said, they think that it's a tire shop, oh, está sucio. And that's my comment. That's the only thing I'm asking. And also for staff to make sure that all the rules are being followed in the shop. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions of council? No? Mr. Navarro.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 18, public hearing of an ordinance approving the replat for Flor del Rio replat B.
Mayor
being-
Pro Tem, can we approve the consent agenda?
My apologies. Moving on to consent agenda.
Second, motion to approve as consent agenda?
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Agenda item number 18, public hearing of an ordinance approving the replat for Flor del Rio, replat B, being Lot 4, Block 2, Flor del Rio subdivision, Socorro, Texas. Public hearing is now open at 7:13 PM. Ms. Navarro, do we have any speakers?
No, we don't.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I was a bit late to the meeting. Did the council already address items 14 and 15?
No, we haven't.
Absent a motion to the contrary, I would recommend taking them in numerical order, the order in which they appeared on.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dismiss the, what I just said here. We'll move back over to item 18. We're going ahead and start with the agenda item number 14, public hearing of an ordinance number 578, amendment number 2, amendment to decrease expenditures by $895 for the fiscal year 2023-2024. We have our city manager, Ms. Adriana Rodarte. Motion?
Open the public hearing.
Okay, so public hearing is now open at 7:14 PM. Do we have any speakers for this
No speakers, Mayor
agenda
Pro
item?
Tem.
No? Go ahead, Ms. Rodarte. There's no speakers? No? Okay.
Close.
Public hearing is now closed at 7:15 PM. Agenda item number 15, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 578, amendment number 2, amendment to decrease expenditures by $895 for the fiscal year 2023-2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Adriana Rodarte, City Manager. This item is to approve the second budget amendment for this fiscal year to decrease the expenditures of $895. The backup provides an explanation on the line items that are being increased and the items that are being decreased. I don't know if you all have any questions.
No questions.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 18. Public hearing of an ordinance approving the replat for Flor del Rio, replat B, being Lot 4, Block 2, Flor del Rio subdivision, Socorro, Texas. Public hearing is now open at 7:16 PM. Are there any
No
speakers?
speakers.
No speakers at this time for agenda item number 18. We're going to go ahead and close public hearing at 7:17 PM.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 19, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving the replat for Flor del Rio, replat B, being Lot 4, Block 2, Flor del Rio subdivision, Socorro, Texas.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Item number 19, the Flor del Rio replat, replat B. General information regarding this request. The applicant and owner is Efren Gutierrez. The property is 33,606 square feet in size. The current zoning is R1, single-family residential. The future land use map for the city of Socorro designates this area as single-family residential. Planning and zoning recommends approval of the replat request. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve the request at their May 21st, 2024 meeting. The property is located south of the intersection of Flor Preciosa and Flor Bonita. It is zoned R1 and has R1 zoning to the northeast and south. Directly behind it is a swath of agricultural zoning. These are photographs taken of the property from Flor Preciosa. It is vacant, and you can also see the vacant lot and the aerial image. The area to the south is also vacant, and the lots surrounding it are all single-family residential. This is the original Flor del Rio subdivision and the general location of this lot on that original subdivision. The replat is to subdivide the one lot into three individual lots. They measure between 10,000 square feet and 13,556 square feet, all within the requirements of the R1 zoning for single-family residential dwellings. With that, staff can answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
So when you say that divide into three, that means the smallest lot is 10,000 plus, will stay at 10,000 plus?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can see from it's a little difficult to see here, but it is and was platted as part of Flor del Rio to be one lot, measuring 33,606 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
They are proposing a split into three so that they can have three lots. The smallest one is 10,000 square feet, and the largest one is 13,556 square feet.
What is replat B?
Replat is just the number B, lettering B, because it's the second replat of the original subdivision, Flor del Rio. Yes, thank you. Perfect. So 10,000 square feet, 10,054 square feet, and 13,556 square feet
Yes.
for the three lots.
And the reason I asked that, I thought each individual would be divided into three.
No.
Yeah, okay. That was my
Gotcha.
question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? No? No questions.
Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Agenda item number 22, public hearing of an ordinance amending chapter 46, article, what's that? 6?
4.
4?
4.
IV? 46, Article 4, Division 9 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Socorro, Texas, to add a set of conditional uses. Public hearing is now open at 7:20 p.m.
No speakers, Mayor Pro Tem.
As there are no speakers at this time, we'll go ahead and close public hearing at 7:20 p.m. Agenda item number 23. Second reading and adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 46, Article 4, Division 9 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Socorro, Texas, to add a set of conditional uses.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Item 23 is an ordinance amendment. As you know, zoning districts regulations establish the types of land uses that are permitted within those specific zoning districts, and they establish development standards. At times, there is a need to change and amend these ordinances to reflect new land uses or the emergence of new land uses. We discussed this item at the May 21st meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Planning and Zoning staff recommended approval, and Planning and Zoning Commission concurred. This is the current list of outright permitted uses under the current C2 zoning district. And you can see some, for example, offices, cafes, clubs, childcare. These are general day-to-day commercial activities to serve the community. Along with these lists of permitted outright uses are conditional use permit requirements, are uses that require this additional request, that is, taken to Planning and Zoning for recommendation to City Council for final approval. These are larger and require a little maybe more scrutiny in determining whether they are compatible uses. So, for example, a shopping center requiring over 50,000 square feet, amusement parks, hospitals. Just to, for example, and like the case we previously heard, motor vehicle repair shops. And an applicant came to our office with the idea of developing pickleball court facility and asked if this was something that would be allowed under C2 zoning. After reviewing his request, and these are really popular right now because they are used in pickleball. Our zoning list for C2 didn't quite fit this use. The items that were closest were number 2, movie theaters, bowling alleys, those are all indoor uses. And then number 11 kind of fits under fitness centers, spas, health studios, fitness centers. But with the fact that it was restricted to indoor or not having outdoor activities, it didn't kind of fit either one. Planning and zoning's recommendation is to introduce a new item that does have an outdoor element under conditional use. That way they can be taken on a case-by-case basis. How close are they to residential areas? My first instinct is that the restricting it to not have outdoor activities would be the noise. All of the others, also parking, but this one specifically, I would say would be most likely the noise. And item 7 would be to allow for tennis courts, pedal tennis, archery ranges, and other similar private public recreational uses, which are outdoor in nature. And with that, staff can answer any questions from council.
Any questions from council at this time? No, no questions.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving on to city manager. Agenda item number 25, discussion and action to approve and ratify Camacho Hernandez work authorization number 4, become effective April 18th, 2024, and authorize city manager or her designee to execute work authorization number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Adriana Rodarte, City Manager. This item was presented and approved at our last council meeting. At this time, we are requesting approval and to ratify the date it became effective to April 18, 2024.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No questions?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 26, discussion and action on an order scheduling a uniform election to be held in the city of Socorro, Texas on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, for the purpose of electing city council members, mayor, representative at large, and representative District 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is to approve this order in order to call an election for November 5th of 2024. This is a requirement that we do this for the purpose of the electing city council members of mayor, representative at large, and representative District 4 representative.
Any questions or discussion on this item? No?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Not loading on ours.
Moving on to agenda item number 27, discussion and action on amending a job description for grants accounting specialist to grant financial analyst as exempt status.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item was also presented and approved at our last council meeting. However, it was approved as a non-exempt status position. This position meets the professional exemptions from the U.S. Department of Labor Fair Labor Standards Act requirements, therefore requesting to make it an exempt status position.
Are there any questions or discussion on this item from council? No questions.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Agenda item number 28, discussion and action to approve the sick leave buyback policy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. Before you, for your consideration, we have a policy regarding buying back sick leave that has been accrued. The policy intends to recognize long-term employees who are proactive with their health care and encourage employees to use sick leave when necessary and appropriate. The sick leave buyback policy is provided as an optional benefit for employees who elect to convert accrued sick leave into a buyback option. And of course, this promotes daily attendance at the work site, reducing absenteeism, promotes employee retention by offering a voluntary benefit that may not be available from other competing organizations. At this time, if you have any questions, I am available for that.
Any questions or discussion? Mr. Reyes?
Is there a limit on how many hours they can?
Yes, sir. And so what happens is that the employee must maintain a minimum of 240 hours in the bank, in the sick leave bank. Anything above the 240 hours can be considered for the buyback, keeping in mind that those hours are measured in 8-hour increments. So for example, if I have 240 hours and I have now 250 hours, I would not qualify for that buyback because it will deplete, go beyond, or reduce it beyond the 240. And so at the minimum, I would need, for example, 256 hours. I would have, that way I have the 240 saved in my bank, and then I would have 16 hours, which would be paid back at 2-to-1 ratio. I would get back 8 hours worth of reimbursement.
But as far as, let's say, I have 500 hours of sick leave, I can sell the 260, just as long as I keep the 240.
Conceivably, you could, but I think that those kinds of instances are very few and far between.
Okay.
But nonetheless, yes, the potential is there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any more questions or discussion on this item?
Ruben Reyes?
Yes.
Cesar Nevares?
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia?
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Do we have any discussion or action for items 30, 31, and 32? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to delete items 30, 31, and 32?
Motion to delete items 31 through 32.
Second.
Second.
Ruben Reyes?
Yes.
Cesar Nevares?
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia?
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos?
Yes.
Agenda item 33, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Ruben Reyes?
Yes.
Cesar Nevares?
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia?
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos?
Yes.
And we adjourn at 7:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.